Phil Walton, please jump in. Gracias.
Thank you very much. So, yeah, okay.
You want to use it?
Why not?
Oh,
yeah.
Sure. Hold on a second. Let me just plug it in.
Okay, we prepared this already.
Yeah.
And I can't see a thing. So I'm not sure exactly what Aldo said, but I'm sure he seemed to mention football. I can't promise that I won't mention it again. But we'll see how it goes.
Perfect.
Yeah, we're good?
Next one.
Cool, thank you very much. So sorry for the sweaty man picture back in Buenos Aires a couple of days ago. But I find it's the best way to have a look and go see places. I'm first time to Uruguay, first time to Argentina, first time to Latin America, South America. So thank you very much for having me. Thank you to Aldo and everybody at PuntaDreamin. So yeah, my name's Phil Walton. I'm a Salesforce MVP. I run a consultancy company in the UK called CloudGaia. And what I want to try and do today is tell you some of the free things that I've found over the years. So I've been doing Salesforce for 14 years now. I've passed 52 Salesforce exams, not that I've been counting or anything. Failed a few as well along the way, but there's no shame in that. I've always gone back to them and retook them again, and I've always passed them. So a bit of persistence always works. I write a Salesforce blog, which I send out on an email every Friday. Nobody reads it? No, it's just a comment. Nobody reads it. Oh, there we go. You're the reader. Oh, thank you, thank you. And generally what it is every week I try and put some tips and hints, and it's generally the free stuff. So, well, things that I'll be talking about today. So that's why I'm going to try and summarize 14 years into about 25 minutes. And the reason for the sweaty picture is that I'm training for the marathon in Manchester in a few weeks' time. I've never done a marathon or half marathon or 10K or anything, so it's probably going to be a disaster, but there we go. So yeah, I'm from Manchester in England. So there's quite a well-trodden path between Manchester and Latin America. So I'm a Manchester United fan. Like I said, I won't talk about football ever again for the next 1 minute after this bit. But yeah, so some famous Uruguayan footballers and a few Argentinians and Brazilians. But obviously, as you can see, the big club in Manchester is Manchester United. There's some little ones, other ones in Manchester as well. And just a bit further down, there's another club. I can't remember who they are. But as you see, so from the map, I don't know how good your UK geography is, so apologies, but Liverpool and Manchester are that far away. That's actually to scale. They are that far away. They're like 30 miles apart, but unfortunately a very different world. Also, Manchester famous for the birth of the Industrial Revolution and lots of great Manchester music. Anybody know of any Manchester music? Without looking at that? Sort of giving that away, really. Yeah, okay. So enough of that. So, you know, if you look at any new app or software or language that you're trying to pick up, I guess the normal things that you would do is perhaps you'd look at some, you think, oh, well, we'll get some books. Java for idiots or whatever these guys are, you know, HTML for beginners. I don't know, 10, 20 bucks, or dollars, sorry, for a book. That's an option. Support can be good, but it can be pretty expensive. Premier support or anything from partners, or training, you can go through the Salesforce training, but again, that's very expensive. So what is there for free? So I'm going to run through these probably as quick as I possibly can do, because some will be really obvious to you and some won't. If I can give you one great free resource that you didn't know about before, then I'll be happy. So events, okay, we're at a great event now, but there's also lots of other events that are out there. So you can go to salesforce.com events. If you squint your eyes really hard, you can see there is actually one in Basecamp Santiago next week, I think. I know it's not exactly local, but that's all there is under the Latin America section under the salesforce.com events. But there's also on the developer calendar, Again, you can't quite see it from here, but take a look on it. There's not only the physical events, but also there's a lot that are online, so webinars. And don't feel that you have to look for this area, because webinars you can watch anywhere. So they're actually quite useful. And then we've got another resource, which are user groups and communities. In fact, a bit of a show of hands. I think I probably know the answer to this, but how many people are developers? How many are normal admin? Any admins, consultants, users? Hey, there we go. Okay. But you will find that a lot of the resource is actually split in two different parts of if you're a developer or if you're a user or admin or consultant. So I will possibly show you two separate things, but don't always feel like, oh, well, I'm a developer, I can't look at a user group, or I can't look at a community, I have to look at only developer things. You know, my background is consultancy and admin. I will go and see developer sessions. I'll understand a little bit, but at least I can get an idea of what's going on, roughly, even if I don't know what the syntax is and what the code will do, or how to write it. And likewise, if you're a developer and go to a user group, you might actually find out what your customers and users actually want and are interested in. So, you know, it makes you a good, well-rounded human being, hopefully. But user groups, so there's the sort of two parts of this with the communities. There's the physical meetups, as somebody had said earlier. You know, it's really important to, it was you guys, it's really important to actually meet people every now and again, face to face. So that's really cool, but also as well, you've got the online communities. So in Manchester, the user group that I started, I think we've got about 800 plus people now. There's about 20 or 30 people, as well as myself, that are on all the time. As soon as there's a question, somebody goes on and helps with it. So, you know, great free resource. On the developer side, again, very similar, but it's on Meetup rather than on Eventbrite and Splash, and sort of slightly different areas to find these things. So, so I haven't got any Salesforce swag, but I've actually got some Manchester United swag. So whenever you see that little Manchester United symbol in the corner, it means I might throw out some swag. And it's metal and sharp. So maybe I don't. So I'm going to try and make it vaguely interactive. So I should have probably asked for a microphone, but you can shout at me. So any sort of community or user group or developer group that you have liked that you want to give a shout out to, you have now got 10 seconds and you can get some Manchester United swag. Anybody? Any hands up? Because I can't actually see anything. Otherwise, I'm going to win it myself.
Yourself.
Meetup that occurs monthly. It's in English. It's out of Michigan, which is a state in the United States, by an MVP named Amit. I don't remember his last name. But what's neat about it is he broadcasts them through a GoToWebinar, and he coordinates with other it's all developer-centric, user groups, and every month they do a different topic, and you can log in. It would probably be about maybe 2 hours earlier than Uruguayan or Buenos Aires time, but he's on Meetup, and I'll get the link and I'll give it to Phil and he can broadcast it out.
Cool, thank you very much.
And it's really great.
Thank you. Oh, I got it. You got your Manchester United swag. Thank you very much. Correct answer. Yes, both ways. So anybody know the answers for them? Maybe. So there used to be a great stat a while ago, and unfortunately I've not got an up-to-date stat, but I'm sure it's pretty close, is that if you put a question on, and if anybody wants to try this now, if they've actually got a question and they want to log in and put something on the answers forum, and probably within a few minutes, well, I think the stat was at one point every question on there had an answer within, I think it was 4 minutes. Does that sound about right? Yeah, it was about 4 minutes. Now that's pretty impressive when you think that was average. 24/7 by volunteers, and okay, you might get some average answers, you might get some not so great ones, but equally, you know, you're probably going to get 2 or 3 answers. You know, and again, these are volunteers, they're people like us that are doing this. When I first started getting involved in the community, it was sort of through this really. Partly to help other people, but I'll admit it selfishly, it was partly to help myself. I was in my early days of widening out my consultancy, and I thought, well, I've got 5 or 10 partners that I work with or clients that I work with, but I was answering questions on here, and I could go through like 10 different industries, 20 different functionalities in an hour or so of helping people out. So it was actually really beneficial for me as well, and gave me that extra experience. So use it as a resource, but equally you can use it to help yourself as well. Developer side, the sort of forums, I guess, would be Stack Exchange, and another one is, I think slightly older, but got a good history there of answers in there as well. There's like 100,000 plus development and Apex answers in there. And if you're anybody working on the non-profit side or higher education, if you're working in that area, you may well focus on this community as well. But what I've often said to people is that if you do have a question, okay, you choose which community and which forum works best for what you need. I can sort of see sometimes it might cover several, so you can do the scattergun approach and put the same question on several times. It's often not the nicest thing to do because then you end up with lots of people working trying to resolve your answer. But I'd say if you do that, okay, but when you do get the answer from one forum, just make sure that you answer your own questions on the other one. So it stops somebody wasting their time and trying to fix it when you've already resolved it. But also as well, then that answer is then searchable on those other communities. And as you probably know, but as there's only 2 hands up, or maybe not, if you are working for a non-profit or a higher education, you can get 10 free licenses from the foundation, salesforce.org. So there's a freebie in itself. But also as well, if you are working for one of those companies or clients, you can ask for discounts on apps and services. You can see if you go to the App Exchange, often if you hover over the pricing, it will say substantial discount for non-profits. And likewise, people like myself and my consultancy, we will both give lower rates for non-profits, but also we will probably every year pick 1 or 2 charities that we will pick and just work for free. We'll just pick something that we like or somebody who really needs our help and we'll really benefit from it. So again, if you're in that area of non-profits, reach out to people, see what they can do for you. Okay, does anybody not have a free dev org? Good. Okay, so blogs. So blogs is a pretty good area for finding great resource. Okay, I put my own one on there. So sign up again with like a few like Hotmail addresses and everything, just try and boost my readership. Also as well, and I've just randomly picked some here because there obviously are so many, and notice the Swag Manchester United sign in the corner, so that means there's a question coming, so prepare. We see in the top right, David Liu's site, Francis Pinder, fellow UK MVP over there, Andy Fawcett's Andy in the Cloud blog, Shell Black in the middle. There's also the one on the bottom right there is quite handy, because it is a blog about blogs. It just lists loads and loads of user, developer, admin, Salesforce blogs, written by a guy called Oliver Hansen in Belgium, a friend of mine. And I think salesforceblogs.com. So, see if I can preempt it with any hands up. What's your favorite blog?
Are you here? Hold on a sec, dude.
You can choose.
We have someone here.
Well, you can still have 2, but there's only 1 prize.
So I figured it might be Salesforce Fails Tips. So
correct answer, yes. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'm going to throw it to you. Okay. See, that's why I can't throw them into the crowd. These burn Aldo's hands whenever he holds this sort of... So, I know you were probably going to say the same thing, but is there any other blogs that you would like? The Arcus blog. And how does one access that?
arcusync.com/blog.
Perfect. And what sort of things do you have on there?
All sorts of fun stuff about Salesforce all sorts of fun stuff about Salesforce from an admin perspective, different industries perspective, and we veer off into other topics like productivity tips and tricks, things like that.
Okay, excellent. And now you've got the mic. What was the URL again?
Oh, you can either go to blog.arcusync.com or arcusync.com/blog.
Perfect. Thank you very much. Sorry, you don't get the swag. Sorry.
I support City anyway.
Ouch.
Oh, there you go. End of presentation. So okay, back to the free stuff. Trailhead. Again, I'm sure most of you will know about it. There's enough information and pushing of Trailheads that you should know about it for now. But probably the important thing is to remember, actually, there's loads of stuff being added regularly. So don't just think, oh, Trailhead, there's 200 badges. Just have a look at it every month. Because there is just loads being added all the time. There was something I put on my blog 2 weeks ago, I think, that I was looking for some Pardots and Marketing Cloud information, and that was just added. Nothing on there before, and then I just happened to go on and it had been added. So again, just keep an eye on it. So App Exchange. So I have to be careful that I don't talk about this for like hours because we have got other stuff on today, but it's sort of like my, my specialist subject, I guess, mainly the free apps. So there's about 1,500 free apps on the App Exchange, and there's a real mixture of stuff on there from the reports and dashboards apps to productivity apps, data cleansing, to also the sort of, the nice sort of admin time savers. But there's also some like really detailed developer coding apps on there. One that springs to mind off the top of my head was one called Object Converter. Anybody heard of that one? So it would it will allow you to put a button on a record, and you can click that convert, and it will take any record of any record type, or sorry, any object, and convert it into a record of any other type of object. And when I passed this on to somebody via the blog, they said, I quote, "This has saved me tens of thousands of US dollars." And that's just a free app that somebody's written and put on there. So what I would really recommend, as well as really keeping an eye on this, take a look out there and see what's on the App Exchange, is also just remember, when you get a new requirement from your client, from your boss, from your colleagues, is before you start coding, start configuring, get onto here and have a look and search for it. You may find that it exists already, and it's free, and somebody's done it better than you had even planned anyway, and it's tried and tested. 100 people have used it and given feedback, so just have a look on there first. Any hands up for the question? So, ideally a free app. City fans not included. So has anybody used a free app that has anybody used a free app? Actually, maybe I should ask first. Anybody used an app? Anybody installed an app from App Exchange?
I used one that, I'm sorry, here.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. The permissioner guys, I think that you saved a lot of time to anyone. If you don't want it, I mean, the permissioner is just allow you to do a permission set, assign it to a group of users with just 2-3 clicks, right? So thank you, just for your free stuff.
Well done, well done.
And you can give that to anyone.
You're not both City fans, are you? No. There you go.
Yes.
Oh.
Whoa. That was catch on camera.
Never listen to my own advice, just throw them anyway. Sorry. It'll grow back. So the other thing about the apps as well is, it is a bit of a plug as well, but if you go onto my, either onto my blog or if you go onto my Twitter, Salesforce Phil, at the top of that, I think I pinned a tweet which is a PDF I put together a few months ago, which is 101 free App Exchange apps. So that would be just quite an easy way to have a look through and see a bit of a summary of lots all there in one place together. So if you're trying to get to sleep one night, something like that, that's a pretty good way. I won't go into each one of these individually, but if anybody wants to mention any of these at the end, Chrome extensions, again, another free resource, as long as you click on the free box on the left-hand side there. But yeah, worth having a look through. And, you know, I listen to sessions. Anybody catch the session on this today or mention of this already today? Yes? Did anybody not see it? Because if they didn't see it, then somebody else could earn a 20 seconds spiel of this. Anybody want to tell me what this is all about and why it's good in 10 seconds for some free swag? Go for it. Thank you. I won't throw it this time. You're too far back.
So we're a Salesforce ISV partner, and we moved to Lightning Design System fairly early on. So our application is 100% LDS. And we did it because we wanted our app to look and feel like Salesforce. We didn't, before Lightning Design System, partner applications looked like they wanted to look. And with Lightning Design System, our end users have a seamless experience between our application and Salesforce.
Cool. Perfect. Thank you very much. Okay, I think there's only one piece of swag left now, so. So another area, and I don't know, although if you're putting these sessions on your own YouTube site or where you might put them, I know I just, again, posted on my blog the other day of the London's Calling slides just went on to London's Calling YouTube page, but it's worth subscribing to the Salesforce YouTube channel. There is tons of stuff on there. Okay, Salesforce people, fingers in your ears for a minute. There's a lot of sales stuff on there. So there's a lot of, you know, success stories. Here's a nice sort of flashy Einstein-y demo. And they're all fine, everything, but actually if you scroll down a little bit, you can hopefully, well, you probably can't actually, but the ones at the bottom, the how-to in Salesforce. One of the ones at the end there, how to import, well, yeah, it's not very sharp, sorry. How to import data into Salesforce. And there's 4 or 5, 5 videos on there. Really powerful thing to be able to say, yeah, okay, I know roughly what I need to do here from reading some notes, but actually for somebody to step through in a video of how you use Apex Data Loader or dataloader.io, really useful. So yeah, maybe scroll past the success stories if that's not what you need, but keep on going, and there's tons of really good videos on there. Anybody know this? Anybody printed this one off? Probably shouldn't do. Again, apologies for the bad resolution, but at the top you can see it's page 1 of 7,261 pages. I got to, I think, about page 20 and my laptop just gave up, but I think it does actually get, I presume that is where it ends at 7,261, but I'm not sure whose job it is to actually maintain this document. My guess is that once you get to page 50, somebody just goes, oh, forget it, it'll be fine. Nobody's going to read it anyway, really. But yeah, if you're that way inclined and you think, oh, books, yeah, I really want a Salesforce book, that has got everything in there. But even then, it's going to be pretty dry. It's going to be a bit, well, very wordy, obviously. But hey, it's a resource. Send somebody the link and just look at their faces as they try and open it. So again, actual books. We were just talking before about Salesforce books and throwing them out into the audience, which I won't do. But most of these are online. That you can probably not see again, but it says up there, updated December 2015. So it's not that up to date, but again, you know, a lot of this stuff is really useful today as it was a couple of years back. There's a lot of people I know that use those cheat sheets or used them and kept them pretty close to their laptops for a good while until they'd memorized it. So again, a good, handy free resource. Talking about free, there is a load of swag. I'm not sure who's got the best swag today. You don't win a prize for telling me that, but you can if anybody wants to shout out. Or me, that's who. But yeah, go visit partners, go visit sponsors. If you do go to one of the bigger events, I think this one, do you guys remember whose photo that was? I can't remember if it was Sharif or David Liu or somebody, but you'll basically go to Dreamforce or something and take an extra suitcase, because you can wear like a t-shirt a week for the rest of the year until the next event, because people are just, hey, yes, please take this, here you go, come and visit. But yeah, it's all free stuff. It's all generally useful. So thank you very much. That's pretty much the end for me, but I will say there's a few other areas that if you haven't got any questions for me, if anybody wants to ask or comment about any of these, which are things that people and fellow speakers have mentioned that might be of use to you, I'm sure these slides are going out somewhere, aren't they? Yeah, they'll be posted somewhere so you can have all these links and everything. So if anybody on a final note either wants to ask me a question or wants to mention of one of those or any other free resource that you know of that you want to share with us, now is a good time. And you don't have to be just one, you can all do it. Go for it.
I have a question here, Phil.
Go for it.
I would just add, you talked about the developer community and user community.
Yes.
There's a third, the partner community, p.force.com.
Good point.
Is awesome for ISV or SI partners. All the same content equivalent, but for partners.
Yeah, yeah, very good point. Thank you. There's another hand somewhere. Oh yeah, go for it.
Wait. We're recording.
Okay. So if you were to recommend someone who is just starting with Salesforce and he doesn't know where, what would be the first resources that you will recommend to go?
Good question, yeah. I think the knee-jerk reaction is to say Trailhead, but actually I would say, and nobody raised their hand, but the developer org, getting the free developer org. You know, to be able to just go in and sign up and have this free, pretty much full version of Salesforce that you can just go in and play with, put some apps in, put some code in, put some config in, put some limited data in, totally screw it up, and go, I'll just get another one. Put some data in, put some apps in, put some code, I've messed that one up. And that, for somebody new, to be able to just play around with it and do absolutely anything that you want to do, personally, I think that's really useful, really handy. When I started, you couldn't do that. I think you always had to take a 30-day trial. And then after 30 days, well, you've lost everything in there, and then you have to, you know, set up a new Hotmail account or another AOL account or a Yahoo or something, and in the end you're like Phil Walton 79 B at hotmail.com or something, and you keep on going through all these things. So, but yeah, so that's. Anybody else would say anything different? Please do. Go for it.
Wait.
If you're via user group or a developer group, depending on which route, because other people are a great resource. Trailhead is overwhelming for beginners, so finding somebody or somebody's that can help steer you in the right direction is very helpful.
Cool. Any last ones or any last word?
Last one.
That was the last one?
Last one. Okay.
Oh, well, in which case, hold on, last bit. I won't throw it this time. I think it's a guy in here. Oh, well, I was going to give it to you. Yeah, up to you.
Sorry.
I'll send you a football shirt. Cool. In which case, thank you very much, everybody. Appreciate it. TJ take the time out, so thank you.